up, virtual people? Welcome to the 105th episode of VCR Redux, where we take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2023. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, coming to you all the way from Miami, Florida, where he runs the nightlife scene and slays screenplays all day long. Gold's Code himself, Shaun Gold, is back on the show.
Just when you thought it was safe to tune in. Thank you for having me.
This, I'm out.
Oh, come on.
And finally making his VCR debut, the only man to turn a VCR Redux into an actual working screenplay. Longtime friend of the show, screenwriter Paul Gonzales is on the show.
Yeah, welcome. Yes.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming on, my man. We are here today because the world is in non-compliance of giving us Flight of the Navigator 2, Turbulence, and we're here to fix the timeline. But before you tell me Pee Wee Herman can do no wrong, we need to talk about how Flight of the Navigator came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that includes everyone watching in the live chat as well. So Love at First Laserdisc, Vital VHS, hit us up in the chat and let us know how Flight of the Navigator came into your lives. So, Paul, do you remember the first time you navigated?
I do. It was actually, on Sundays, Disney would show movies. I guess it was like Disney Family Night or whatever. Well,
Disney Channel?
No, this was ABC or.
Oh, okay.
Dude, this was back in 1986. I was 5 years old, and the same year that the movie came out. Later, they split it up into a 2-night movie event.
What?
On NBC, and that's how I watched it for the first time. My parents didn't take us to go watch it in theaters, even though they took us to watch RoboCop, they took us to watch Predator, they took us to watch a number of rated R things. They did not take us to go watch this, but we sat together as a family for 2 nights and watched it on The Wonderful World of Disney. That's what it was.
That's glorious.
You know what? That makes sense because The Wonderful World of Disney was only an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
So that does make sense now. I was sitting there like, why would they split it up? But with commercials and the classic Mr. Boogedy, it's only an hour. People think that's a full movie. That's only 45 minutes long.
You're taking the magic out of it. Come on.
The sequel was, Return of Boogedy was an hour and 40. That was an actual feature length made for TV movie.
An hour and 40 glorious minutes.
That's right. But Mr. Boogedy was just so I get why they would split that up. I bet you they did that with a lot of movies.
Can I just say,
I've ever heard of that.
Shout out to NBC, because NBC was just doing whatever the fuck they wanted back in the day. They're like 3-hour version of Superman 2. How do you like that? They would just add shit. They would be like, oh, we're airing Halloween. John Carpenter, go film some new fucking scenes. We want to make it even longer.
Put some backgrounds there. Brother and sister. Doesn't make sense, but we need some time here to film.
NBC moved mountains. They did some fucking crazy shit. They probably did some shit no one knows about. There's some dead bodies at NBC that get shit done.
There's dead bodies all over LA. Come on now.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, listen. You couldn't make Blossom without breaking a few eggs, okay?
Hey.
So that's
Shaun,
the case.
Get out.
You know how to hit me in the heart, my friend.
Whoa.
So, Shaun, when did you first get navigated?
Stop making that a thing, Chris.
You're already feeling it. You're already loving it.
You're disgusting. I cannot stand this.
You're loving it.
Yeah, listen, first time I got navigated. See, it is a thing.
Oh,
there it is.
It was one of those movies that was always on in the late 80s, early 90s. It was always on TV or something. And I just remember, I didn't see it in a theater. I don't remember renting it, but it was part of that time frame in the 80s when kids, for some reason, were going into space. You had Space Camp, you had Explorers, you had Flight of the Navigator.
Kids were just doing things, though.
They were doing
kids stuff. Kids were fighting monsters and ghosts,
But there was this period where they were all going into space. So this was part of that period. It was always on. It was, and I feel like it was part of that time frame when Disney kind of didn't know what it was doing, much like now. But this one was really like a Disney movie, but it's not really. It's kind of like an adult. Like the plot was like very heavy.
Was this pre Igor, what was his name?
Eisner?
Eisner? Yeah, was this pre-Eisner?
It's definitely pre-Iger.
This is 84. Yeah, this was like when they were still making like weird movies. This was before the Renaissance. This was back when, it was just like, okay, whatever, And then they had, then they had, the Sunday, the movie, Disney movie night, and then the Friday night lineup, and it was all the stuff. But yeah, this was always on back on TV, and I was just always remember it being around with that little puppet on his shoulder or whatever. And Pee Wee Herman's voice, which it was in the movie, which is very confusing to all of us.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah, they were going to backdoor their own little Mac and Me with the sequel to this that I think that never happened.
Mac Attack. It would have been great. They could have combined it. Mac Attack or Mac Harder.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Can I just say, like, not to veer away from Flight of the Navigator, but I want this world to make up its gosh darn mind when it comes to Mac and Me. Do we like that movie or do we not?
No,
who cares what the world does?
We love
you make up your own mind and let that be enough.
No, listen, I want the world to accept it like they always need to. All right, it's a fantastic promotion for McDonald's Corporation. But 2, it is actually not the worst movie out there.
This world doesn't make sense to me. Otherwise, we'd be celebrating summer school every year. But
I celebrate it every year.
I celebrate it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that should be a national holiday. That's if Mickey was here, I'd make a summer school joke, but he's not. Is he in the chat?
No, Mickey never got navigated, so he's not.
What?
Stop it!
Yeah,
stop it.
You put the brakes on this.
He was like 32 when the movie premiered in theaters. So
Mickey doesn't even have a. Mickey doesn't even believe in maps.
You might as well be that guy on the beach wearing a shirt that says "Navigate this." Like just stop.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow. There's what the title should have been.
Forget Turbulence. Navigate this.
All right. So when
aliens.
When did young Ian first adopt this navigate this attitude? Tell me about this. When did this happen?
I'll tell you, I love this movie. This was a humble.
Yeah, we're 2 for 2. It's Congo. It's Flight of the Navigator. And number 3 is going to be Airborne. It's going to be great.
In fact, I just watched Flight of the Navigator just on my own a couple months ago because I hadn't seen it in years, and doggone it, it still holds up, people. But I remember I've talked about this on the show before, but this was from that theater that it was like half a movie theater, half a video rental store in Humboldt, Iowa. And I remember going and seeing that beautiful Disney clam box shell that was, so if I remember right, the Flight of Navigator one was half white. Yeah, it was like a white top with like a red sash, and then it was like the poster, and then like red slash.
Oh God, I forgot about the red sash that they used to put in there. Like you couldn't be able, like in case you wouldn't be able to get the tape out. Oh,
yes,
fuck.
I remember.
The little, bookmark. Yeah.
What? No, well, that was the Disney cover. It was like a white. It had like a white red.
That's how they kept them in the vaults. Remember,
Colored.
They have a vault.
Yeah,
it's going in forever.
But I remember renting, Flight of the Navigator and just loving this movie. Just rewatching it until we had to take it back. And probably rented it again.
Wow, I could see that. I definitely had movies like that when I was a kid. And I will get to my discovery of the Navigator in just a sec, but I do want to say hi to everyone tuning in the live chat. I see Angie Saunders, Monica Thyman, Pistolas 9, Mike Riffraff, Tarkiz. I hope I'm saying that right. Alex Bonafonte, Toots LaRue in the chat so far. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Alex Bonafonte says, I ordered the Life After the Navigator Blu-ray. It was riveting. Just watched that today as well, my man. That was an excellent documentary. Angie Saunders, mashup genius herself, says, I watched this on VHS. Mikey Riffraff, another mashup maker, saw this one in the theater. I'm always jealous people get to see these like cultural, landmark time capsule movies in a theater. And Tarkis says, I saw the poster on the window of the VHS store and we rented it. Alex Bonafonte says, parts in theater, fully on UHF. Wow, parts.
Not UHF. Oh, I love this.
But so I again have this vague memory of watching it on TV during the day, and I couldn't tell you what channel it was or anything like that.
It was always on. I'm telling you,
it was
like
always on. So it was like one of those busy summer days when you're kind of like half playing with your friends, and every now and again, you come back and watch a little bit of the movie. But when it's like commercial break, you're just running and whatever. So I rewatched it again just a few days ago and realized how little of the movie I remembered actually. And rewatching it, I was like, okay, I think I remember the steps, and that's about it. But I was delighted, of course, to see one of my favorite actors, Clifty Young, playing the dad, the great dad from Secret Admirer, another '86 classic. What a year for Clifty Young, really. We just take a moment to acknowledge that.
When was Pulse? Do you guys remember Pulse?
Was that the one? It's the father and son kind of horror movie where the house is like.
Oh,
like God, I love that movie.
All the electricity's going, and what I remember the most is a nail gun shoots a screw and it like lands in his skull. Like I don't know why, but that's what I always remember about Pulse. Like it was Clifty Young getting
Pulse. Oh,
never seen it. We gotta add that.
Joey. Speaking of Joey Lawrence, it's Joey. Whoa. It's Joey Lawrence in Pulse.
Whoa. Okay, hold on then. We'll forget Flight of the Navigator. Let's talk Pulse.
All right, let's get on this here. No, but yeah, so I had seen Flight of the Navigator again, remember very little of it, and they were fine. I'll be honest with you, I was really riveted by the movie and the story, and then as soon as the robot changed voices, I got kind of thrown. I was like, what the hell is going on? He's doing this kind of pseudo
bad Pee Wee Herman.
He's doing this sort of pseudo Pee Wee voice, and then I come to find out that's not a pseudo Pee Wee, that's actually Pee Wee.
Yeah, he gets everywhere. He gets everywhere back in the 80s.
He's accredited in the credits as Paul Mall, I think.
Paul Mall? Okay.
Yeah, instead of Paul Rubens, because he didn't want people to think that they were going to go see the Pee Wee
movie
or something.
What's he credited in Meatballs 2?
Amazing.
Is it Paul Rubens though, or is it Pee Wee Herman? I bet you it's
Paul Rubens.
He was the best bus driver ever. They should make a movie called The Bus
and Meatballs Part II. It's Paul.
Well, speaking of meatballs, if you tune into VCR next week, we are going to be taking the meatball challenge. So,
thanks.
I know Ian finally can rejoice. Ian's like, thank God, about fucking time.
Laws of nature, we're finally doing meatballs. God,
I know, Ian. I know.
Dang it!
This is the best couple weeks of Ian's life because we did Congo and then we did Flight of the Navigator and then we're doing meatballs. So Ian's
this is the best 3 weeks of your life, followed by the worst 37. So enjoy.
You should just stuck to the space theme and done Meatballs. What, 3? Is that the one with Feldman and?
No,
that's
Meatballs
4.
Meatballs 4. Meatballs to the rescue.
Meatballs 2 is the one with this Meathead and Flash. And
yes, but Meatballs 3 is the one with Patrick Dempsey. So we'll get into more. We'll get into more of that next week. Of course.
Excuse me, Meatballs III Summer Job.
That's right, Summer Job.
You respect the titles the way that they were written.
So what was Meatballs 2?
Writers Guild of America strike.
Meatballs 2 was Unhappy Campers or Happy Campers or something like that.
It was originally titled Unhappy Campers, but then they bought Meatballs and called it Meatballs.
I love how you make it sound like they bought a tray of meatballs, but at any rate, we're a week early. We're a week early to be talking about meatballs here. But
the hype is real.
Getting back to the Navigator, the one thing I do remember distinctly as a kid is the steps, wondering how they did that. And of course, watching the Life After Navigator documentary today, you confirm what you since suspected, that they just had rods kind of at an angle that you couldn't see. It's just old school in-camera trickery. But obviously this movie has, the beta version of morphing. It has the beta version of reflective mapping CGI. There's a lot of things. And apparently even James Cameron said of the film that was one of the things that convinced him he could do the Mercury Man in T2. He was like, okay, really? Maybe we can start to do this. And then he's like, I'll try it myself with the Abyss. And then he's like, holy shit, I think we can. And boom.
I think they used the same special effects dude for T2.
Was it Dennis Muren?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Sure.
Dennis Muren was on T2. Yeah.
Helen Mirren or Dennis Muren?
Helen Mirren could be on any set of any movie, and it'll be amazing.
Okay, I'm just checking. This movie also, had creepy woods with the train tracks. You don't see that until this movie, and then step Stand By Me. He falls off the creepy train tracks and wakes up, and that's it. I was like, oh man, he fell down that hole for 10 seconds, and all that time went by.
You know, it's interesting. This is directed by Randall Kleiser, who also gave us Grease, the original Grease, in 1978.
What a career!
Yeah, right. Like such a high, and I know this movie didn't really make money at the box office.
At least we forget though that he did also direct Grease 2.
Did he really do Grease 2 also?
Heck yes, he did.
Wow.
But if he didn't do that, we wouldn't have Rex Manning, so it's okay.
You know what? If Sylvester Stallone had directed Grease 2, it would have been great. Not like like Staying Alive. Like that's the real sequel. No one likes Saturday Night Fever. Everyone just likes Staying Alive. That's clearly
Why are you
film.
a communist? Why?
I'm joking.
Why do you
I'm joking.
hate everything about this world?
I do love Staying Alive, but that's for another.
Because at the end,
nobody likes Staying Alive.
He's gonna strut. He's gonna strut.
It's one of my favorite pieces of shit ever. It's so bad that it's delicious. But at any rate, getting back to the Navigator, of course. Do you guys have a favorite line or a favorite scene? Anything that like the moment that really stuck with you or connected with you when you first watched it?
Who's the president? Jimmy Carter. Wait, what? So we'll drop you off at home. I do like the fact that it was shot on site in Fort Lauderdale, and it wasn't like trying to be like Fort Lauderdale, this is Miami or this is Tampa. It's like very few movies are shot on site and take place where they're supposed to take place. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. Just a minor thing because I've been there a bunch of times, and it's like this is a good place. Someone should shoot a movie. And Flight of the Navigator did, and no one ever else did since.
One of the original filming locations was going to be Dallas, Texas. And if you guys don't know, I live in Corpus Christi, Texas, which is about, I guess, 4 or 5 hours away. But still, I thought it was cool that it was originally going to be shot in Texas. But due to inclement weather, they moved to Florida. And actually, I think it works a lot better in the movie, for it taking place in Fort Lauderdale.
Florida. I was gonna say, Florida is one of those places that in the 80s had like more movies than it did in any other decade. Like I feel like they had Cocoon and like Flight of the Navigator, and I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting. Nerds 2,
Porky's, Scarface, the Miami Vice.
Porky's.
And
like in Chicago, like all the movies were in Chicago, all the John Hughes movies and shit like that, all the teen comedies were in Chicago. Then in like the 90s, it's just like everything's just in New York now. The only two places you can be are New York or LA.
You know why?
Why?
There is no Shermer, Illinois. Freaking movies, man.
There is. It's called Northbrook. It was called Shermer 100 years ago. Everyone says this.
Yeah, I've been to Northbrook.
That's what you're looking for. That's it. It's just not called Shermer. It hasn't been since like the 1800s.
Terrible pizza.
Oh, you just get right out of here right now. Next thing you're gonna tell me you're not a fan of rollerblading movies.
Don't you dare.
Solar Babies.
Don't you dare.
Oh God. Oh, we could do a whole Kids on Wheels month on VCR. If there's enough people that want that in the live chat.
Oh, we're doing it.
What will we do with it?
No.
We do Rad 2, we do Thrashing 2, we do BMX Bandits 2, we do Skateboard Kid 3.
And we'll do Airborne Begins.
Oh, we haven't done a prequel yet.
No, you already did it. I wasn't on the episode.
No, we did Airborne too. Airborne like Sky High. This is gonna be Airborne Begins. Okay.
Airborne America.
Air America. We're gonna learn the legend of Devil's Backbone. It's gonna be great. Book it next week. Cancel Meatballs.
Gross. Don't you dare. But the part that I love the most of this movie, and ever since I was a kid, two things. One, it's either this movie I will think about, or it'll be Look Who's Talking. When it comes to the Beach Boys, I Get Around.
Okay. Wait a minute. You're gonna throw shade at Stiles from Teen Wolf like that?
No, absolutely, 100%.
Oh no, that's how a generation discovered the Beach Boys, thanks to Jerry Levine.
I'm either envisioning David doing this, or I'm envisioning floaties from Grossness. But most of the time I prefer David. Don't make me say the word, Chris. You know darn well what I'm talking about.
We have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I discovered them when Uncle Jesse was playing with them on Full House. So I don't know what you're. I don't know.
That's
what
an
you're
even better
about.
word.
Jesse and the Rippers, baby.
Yeah, Jesse and the Rippers over here, man. I don't know what you're
No,
talking
it's
about.
and look who's talking. Christy Alley and John Travolta kiss, and all of a sudden it's little swimmers going by, and they got look who's talking. Or I get
Is that the one with the dogs?
Oh,
the
right.
dogs are talking.
No, that's look who's talking now, which is an even better version than 2.
Okay, I'm sure I got it confused, but okay, it's fine. It doesn't.
Oh, look who's talking now is.
But it's that. And this is the movie where, to be honest, I discovered this thing called fireworks. Like when his brother shoots off the fireworks, I always wanted fireworks of my own.
His brother was always really annoying as a little kid. When he was grown up, he was more mature. Probably because
and he had a great mullet.
Yeah,
and the great Matt Adler. There's a Teen Wolf connection right there. So really, we have Matt Adler to thank for the prolonged life of the Beach Boys.
Who's he in? Who's he in Teen Wolf?
He's Lewis.
Get out of here.
That's Matt Adler, my
Get
friend.
out
And he's
of
also Dumas in Dream a Little Dream. It's great. Oh,
fascinating.
Once again, Ian demonstrates that the basic lacking of film history for being a film professor.
Wow.
Wait, who said it? He said what? He said what? He is. Hold on a sec. Wait, how do you know this? What? Again, so
Ian's like the old lady in Major League here in Cleveland. I didn't know we still had a team.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that freaking song.
You know what's a funny story is my brother, who is Alex Staunch from Staunch TV.
That's right.
Yeah, he whenever he was born, I think like whenever my mom brought him home, one of the first thoughts in my head was like, man, wouldn't that be weird if one day I woke up and my younger brother was older than me? Just from Flight of the Navigator.
It was trippy bad for a kid's movie. It was really trippy. It was like, wait, what? His parents are all old. He goes to his house like, son, you don't live here anymore. You know, it's weird.
It's worse, like, because I'm a father of 3. And then going back to rewatch this movie, like, man, I would like all of a sudden your kids disappear and show up like all these years later.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Like, that'd be like if my kids were like grown-ups by the time I saw them again, like what? Like, I don't know. This movie was more terrifying to me as a parent than as a child.
Yeah.
So
that explains its high box office returns.
This is
Disney, what brings families together.
Yeah, this is almost a horror movie. You know?
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's a step or two shy, but it's right up close to it.
That forest with the train tracks, man, it was weird.
But you know what, though? I'll tell you, the 80s were a time where I don't think our parents really were as conservative about like what we watched or how we watched or how it actually impacted us when we watched it. Because, you know, I mean, you look at some stuff from that era that's some of our best movies. A perfect example, Ghostbusters, right? Saw it a million times as a kid, you know, over and over and over and over again. Then finally, one time, I'm watching it when I'm 16 years old, you know, and all of a sudden that ghost floaty scene happens. And you all of a sudden go, oh, you know, and it totally, I'm like,
I thought you were going to say,
this is a kid's movie. Like, what is happening?
I thought you were going to say the keymaster and the gatekeeper.
Well, that too. You're just like,
yeah, because it's like, yeah. Whenever I realized that, I was like, the key has to go in the keyhole. Okay.
All I know is that opening scene didn't scare me of ghosts. It scared me of libraries. Man, they're creepy.
Oh yeah.
And they stack up the books, and you can get lost in there. You got to ask someone where the history section is. Yeah, so it definitely scared me for libraries.
There are so many books that have been checked out since 1993 because of you, Shaun.
I feel like Ian's love of a library came when he first got the novelization of Flight of the Navigator on paperback at a Scholastic book fair.
He got the novelization.
No, I will tell you this. I remember as a kid at the library loving the novelization of Star Wars. One like George Lucas supposedly wrote.
Did your teacher let you do the novelization of Star Wars as your book report, or was it like You have to pick a real book, Ian. Okay, what about this one? The autobiography of
No,
Stan
they
Lee.
were actually cool with it because they knew I liked movies, and as long as I was reading, they were fine with me doing novelizations. But I'll be honest, the only one I really remember reading of a novelization was Batman Returns.
Did you have to go return your book and rewind it, or how did it work? I gotta go rewind my book, or they'll charge me.
I did. I was bad at turning stuff in to the point I was not allowed to check out movies from the library anymore. I do remember that as a kid.
Wow.
Oh, my family rented Death Becomes Her in 1993 and never returned it from Blockbuster. But
I think we're all guilty of taking something from the library that isn't ours, and that's okay. I'm not ashamed of it.
I'm not ashamed of defrauding the public of their funds.
No, not at all. They knew what they were getting into. When they put that in there,
hey, why isn't Shaun on the show anymore? Well, he got audited by the IRS, actually.
That's okay. That DVD they don't miss. What's a DVD?
What?
Yeah, they're the library's really sad. I stole their laser disc of Youngblood with Rob Lowe and Patrick Swayze. They're really like it just never recovered from since then.
No, because everybody wants to flip that halfway through.
Hey, you got Ed Lauder, my friend. If you got Ed Lauder, you'll do it for him.
All right.
So there is some
Iowa native, by the way. Ed Lauder's from Iowa.
Oh, well, hold on a sec.
You all have made fun. Well, you love Ed Lauder.
Give the man a fucking statue.
That man, he should have one.
Yes, but not because he's from Iowa. I love Iowa. But like, wait a minute, that man, he's from Iowa.
Look, we got Herbert Hoover, we've got freaking Captain Kirk, and we've got Ed Lauder. What do you want?
How much more could you ask for?
I think Captain Kirk should have a statue for him.
He does. He does. Captain Kirk is going to be born in Iowa in the year 23 something. And in Riverside, Iowa, that is the home of James T. Kirk. They have Star Trek Fest every summer.
Wow. Pregnant Trekkies are just going to be like running into that house. Like,
they do. It's fascinating.
So Picard's
This is a real thing. I'm not making this up. This is a real thing.
Does he have a statue? Or is it just an Iowa thing?
Wait, what? Say again?
Because it said Picard's from France. Does he have a statue in his town for a fictional character?
French don't care.
Is it only an Iowa thing?
The French don't care about their freaking. They only care about.
All right, but Benjamin Sisko's from the French Quarter in Louisiana. His dad DS9 had a restaurant. Did he got a statue? I'm just trying to ascertain how Iowa treats its icons better than other fictional characters.
There's no other captain than Janeway, so back off. Secondly, let's get back to this whole navigating thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ian wants to get re-navigated. So
no, I don't. That's disgusting. Like
navigate
I need
this.
To shower after you've said that.
You guys are at least sticking with the space theme. That's good.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes,
that's true. That's true.
We try for our audience.
So I gotta say, I think my favorite part of the movie at this point, being with this epic gap of having seen it as a little kid and then having rewatched it. To me, like the whole movie I want is about the little like Mac and Me type of dude, that little like
the thing that like stays in his backpack at the end. Think of the adventures he gets on.
Right
seriously, think on it. I don't.
Think of the space shit that thing leaves everywhere, though.
It probably has little raisin poops, like little tiny gerbil poops or whatever they are.
What if that's what caused freaking pandemics and diseases? Like, you all want to have this nice little ET friendly thing, but doggone it, the government has this rules for a reason of why we keep aliens out of here.
Ian, if you could have dad in Gremlins, you would have shot Gizmo. Like,
but they could have
un-American.
Did Gizmo not cause all that trauma?
No, the fucking irresponsible dad caused all that trauma.
Yeah, it's usually the irresponsible adults. Gizmo's got nothing to do. He just watches Rambo and chills. He doesn't have to do anything.
Exactly. Gizmo invented Netflix and chill.
Yeah, it's true.
Gross.
Before there was a fucking Netflix and chill. Oh well, I didn't mean it like that. You took it. I guess that's what I'm such an old man though. I'm using the term wrong. I'm like, hey, he invented this and chill. Yeah.
That is why all those dates. Chris literally wanted a movie night and just let's chill and talk. And he sent that text, and they never responded back.
He's like, I thought it was the movie. I thought it was Mac and Me. Okay, I'll take a different movie. Anything you want.
She didn't like me anyways. Like, whatever.
I think my date proposition would probably be more, let's watch Tubi and just let it autoplay. So we call it Tubi or not Tubi. Whatever comes on.
Sir, you had me at hello. That's a date night right there.
But one of the scary things also was at the end, whenever the little alien dude pops out of his backpack, and I'm like, this guy, you don't know how big he's gonna get. Like,
oh my God.
Why you gotta ruin the magic? Why you gotta ruin the magic?
Like, that's kind of, it is about sequel time, but that's sort of a sequel that we want. Like, at the end of the Goonies, I always want to see what it's going to be like for Sloth going to live at Chunk's house. Like, that's a sitcom right there. And, like, I feel like, there's a sequel to this movie that could have come out in 1987. That would have been adorable, family-friendly, Mac and Me with a bigger budget, and could have been awesome. You could have had, kids in wheelchairs flying off cliffs into water. Imagine all the times Paul Rudd would show that on Conan O'Brien. It would be excellent. Excellent. I love Mac and Me. I'm surprised we haven't done that one yet too.
Please do it. Please do it.
We should do
The family got citizenship, and in the sequel, it was revoked. Come on, that's right there.
But it is pitch time as well for
they got the.
Is there any like making of videos for Mac and Me? So
oh my gosh.
It actually shows the actors that played the mom and dad. Like, how skinny do they have to be in that freaky costume? Because it's all they are is like sticks and bellies, It's like there's weird.
The movies that are not on people's resumes as they go for auditions.
Yeah. Played Mac's dad and Mac and Me.
I just want to know who played Ronald McDonald, because that Ronald could dance.
That's true. That was the original Ronald McDonald that played him.
Wow. See, Ian, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to provide film history and knowledge. Pay attention.
Sir, if you want to know facts about Roger Corman and Undertaker and his pals, I can give you the whole slate.
No one wants facts about Undertaker and his pals.
Everybody wants facts about L.T. Swicegood's epic masterpiece, all right?
Unless the Undertaker pals you're talking about are like, Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart. Like,
yeah, that's who I thought he was talking about. You're
preaching to the wrong. You're preaching to the wrong room of Floridians right now.
Heathens.
If
that's what I'm pitching to. I'm pitching to heathens.
If it ever comes up that we need some real film trivia, like who is in Fort Apache, we'll know who to reach out to.
John Wayne.
Yes, there you go.
Henry Ford.
Yeah, see.
So speaking of film history,
Henry
Fonda,
talk in the
chat.
Some talk in the chat.
He still gets Mars.
John Ford's the director. Henry Fonda. Sorry.
Are you sure? It was Arnold Stallone. He played.
I had Andrew McLaughlin. You didn't know that fact, did you? Yeah. Who's Andrew McLaughlin? None of you know it. Shut up. I don't want to hear it.
All right.
Paul, do you know any vaudeville actors that the chat should know about? Maybe you have somebody from the 1938 Cowboy Classic singing Sandy that you could bring to light. Maybe some behind the scenes tidbits for us. Some little morsels.
I do not, but I know that you guys are like making me cry over here. This is awesome.
It's all in the day's work. That's what we do.
Vaudeville actors. Let me tell you about Herman Schmaltzville.
My Lord. All right. Speaking of cinema,
how about Bixby Blonder? Let's talk about those guys.
Well, the live chat is talking about some cinema classics. Xandra Mars says, "Oh God, Grease 2 is awful." Angie Saunders says, "I like Staying Alive." So I'm with you, Angie Saunders.
What is wrong with this?
Our mash of
stop.
Genius.
Our audience needs to stop.
No, our audience.
No, keep going.
Keep going. And if you got pitches that involve rollerblades, especially, annoy Ian with them in the chat, because Sean Gold can't be in two places at one time.
But I can be here. Okay, I got.
Speaking of a great act, I remember when Herman Sphinkster was in a rollerblade act in 1922.
Please tell us what a young Marvin Hamlish was up to before he got his big break.
Oh, it was such a long time ago.
Oh man. So speaking of stealing from Blockbuster as well, Alex Bonafonte says, "I have a Blockbuster VHS case for The Professional." Oh, I love that when you would buy the
Nice.
previewed movie and they lost the slipcover, so they just gave it to you in like a Blockbuster box.
Yeah.
Those were
That's
great.
that's an archaeological like artifact right there. It's like finding a
that's
Blockbuster
true.
card on the street. What's
You know
this?
what? You say that, but honestly, in like 20 years, how cool will finding one of those be? Actually, like
It's already cool. It's already cool as hell.
Look, I found the Blockbuster card on the street. How cool is this? This is the coolest thing I've ever done. Awesome. And yesterday, I saw a blimp. What is this? Living my best life.
Nobody ever talks about this, but I worked at Blockbuster for like 6 months, and nobody ever talks about the fact that if you work at Blockbuster, you get 2 weeks to check out the new releases before they even hit the floor.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But you have to stay late and do inventory. So there's kind of there's a price to pay.
Dude, I did it all the time. Yeah,
I did.
Oh,
I worked at movie gallery. Yeah, I remember like I got to watch the Steven Seagal's in for the kill of justice.
Steven Seagal's Hard for Kill.
Hard for kill.
He's gonna take him to the bank, the movie bank. All right.
Kill for Cash. With starring Dwayne.
He's gonna cash his box office billions at the blood bank.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a buddy named Jason. I won't give away his last name because of what I'm about to tell you. He went from the Blockbuster in our small town of Beeville, Texas, to the distribution center in Las Vegas, I think.
Oh, whoa, that's a lateral move right there.
Yeah, and so whenever it was Oscar season, he would mail me all the Oscar screeners.
Nice.
Because like supposedly the VHS and eventually the DVDs would all go through the Blockbuster distribution center, and then and then they would go out to the voters. So like one day I would go check the mail and I had like 10 VHS. I'm like, whoa, like what is
That's awesome.
Ian, will you ever send me 10 VHS tapes?
I'll send you the classic 10 short films of Devlin McClellan. He died in 1922.
Yes or no.
That's how I got to watch Boogie Nights for the first time.
One of the greatest movies ever made. Another one we had a VCR that one of these days when you do Boogie Nights too.
You just got to do it on the guy on the motoring song. That's the whole thing.
What to Boogie Nights?
Boogie Days.
He went to
I want to know what happened to that Chinese guy Cosmo with the firecrackers.
He went to
Cosmo's Revenge.
He went to Ventura. Like what?
I want to see how many stereos they sold at Buck's Super Cool Stereo World.
I want to know the magic tricks. I want to know how he made everyone pop out at the end.
I want to know what happened with fucking Alfred Molina's character. Is he still in a fucking Speedo doing coke in a robe with Cosmo?
Making his own mixtapes.
He's now Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly. He was right on the money, okay? Because again, I hate when you buy an album, you got to listen to it in the order they tell you to do. Okay, not doing that. He was fighting the man. Make your own mixtape.
He's like, I hate when you do a VCR Redux and they tell you to fucking pitch at the half an hour. I hate that.
Yeah, exactly.
I pitch what I want to pitch.
I do what I want.
All right.
Next week,
it is
Boogie Nights
time. It is time for us to try and pitch some Flight of the Navigator sequels. Again, I would have liked to have seen one, like in 1987, 1988, where Joey Kramer's back and him and like little Mr. Mac and Me guy go on some adventures, and they have to re-navigate. They got to go somewhere and do something in space, and boom, you're off to the
run. Have you guys seen the documentary?
I have
Life After Navigator.
That is, I watched that after I watched Flight Navigator. I watched that. Fantastic documentary. And
did we get to find out what happened to the alien?
This world did not deserve Joey Kramer. I've got to say that. Why nobody brings him back? That guy is the most humblest, down to earth guy. I mean, he went through some garbage, but he is such a great person. Like, if you watch that documentary, you will fall in love with Joey Kramer.
Sound like you're setting him up for a date. He's such a great person. You're gonna love
as long
him.
as Chris doesn't text him Netflix and chill, like hopefully.
What if it's Netflix and chill, Flight of the Navigator? He can say, "I lived it."
The thing is about the doc is like what it made me realize is like he might not be alive right now if he did not take that time off to finish school and then try to come back into acting. Like he could have just blown up and he could have been a River Phoenix.
Well,
yeah, he could have been like a Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, you know. Yeah, a lot of those guys had a rough go with things. I mean, Dana Plato, you know, I've always been fascinated with like child stars and, you know, people, their success, the kind of the balance of like success and madness for a lot of people.
Listen, you don't see Shirley Temple doing anything like that. Okay, Shirley Temple right to the top.
No, Shirley Temple did. There just wasn't TMZ back then finding Shirley Temple at 18 drinking the gin. You know, like
he was probably drinking a Shirley Temple. That's where we get the name from.
Shirley Temple probably robbed a liquor store too. It's just back in those days, the studio just sent hitmen to kill the owner of the liquor store, so he couldn't tell anybody his story. Like,
that's
what happens. Bury this, damn it! Like, you don't even know how.
That's with RKO Productions.
What liquor store? There's been a pharmacy there for 30 years. You see?
RKO, the head studio of Schmilden McBarden.
But it's like
all right. So
the thing about the doc is like it shows that he's still a good looking guy. You know,
it's like again, you're setting him up for like a date. You're like, oh, he's a great guy. He's a good-looking guy.
But I would love to have him back in a sequel. Whenever there's a sequel, like I want Joey Kramer. Like
I'm setting him up for a release date for this movie.
Okay, here. Okay, the Navigator comes back, and I can't find Joey Kramer. But finds Mitchell Goosen. Abducts him before the race, so they lose the race. So then they have to set time right so he can actually beat the race.
I'll be back. I'll wait.
They go to a dystopian future where the preps are won and Cincinnati is terrible. Not the fine, upstanding, clean city that we know today. So he has to work with the Navigator to get back to the original time. Think about him working with a snake that's 30 years old. Yeah. Think that's movie material right there.
We are not worthy of your genius, sir. Shaun Gold. Always humbled by the legendary amount of airborne pitches you bring.
It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, and I tell you what, you can easily win Devil's Backbone if you're in a flying saucer.
I just want to say to the kids at home, if you say your prayers and eat your vitamins and you train hard, you too can be pitching airborne sequels on VCR Redux. It's not for everybody. It's only for the determined.
Yeah, it's for the determined, and I only really do it because some days. Living in Miami, it's a little hard, but I know that every Wednesday I can look forward to annoying Ian. It gives me just a little bit of joy, just a little bit of joy to keep going, no matter how tough the game gets. I know that I can always say something to cause Ian to get up and leave, or
we stopped making docking references to make Ian walk out. Now it's all just airborne.
Yeah. Let me pitch this. Anyway, the. For a sequel, all right. If you're gonna do a true sequel, I think there is a way of doing like a modern version of today. If you did like I don't want to do a remake, but you're essentially going to probably do the same movie almost.
They're supposed to be remaking it. They're supposed to be rebooting it.
Are they? Well, but see, I think if you.
Dallas Howard is supposed to be directing it, and it's supposed to star a female navigator,
which would be fine. Honestly, I'd be totally fine with that.
That's part of what I was going to pitch. But
as long as you got Joey Kramer, has to help out somehow.
Well, here's what I think you do. All right, and I was watching the documentary and hearing his life story, and you know, it's all in the doc, but his father was not around when he was a kid, and I think that was hard for him. You know, it seemed in the doc they placed some emphasis on that, and coincidentally he ended up fathering a daughter that went to foster parents, and they're in a great home and like they're in touch and stuff like that. But so it sort of got me thinking, okay, what if in a Flight of the Navigator sequel, what if it wasn't the child that goes away, but it's the parent, and you sort of deal with some of those issues, and like, you know, without getting too schmaltzy about it, what would happen to a kid if his dad went away when he was 8 and came back, or when he was 12 or 8 or whatever, came back 10 years later, and like you have that be Joey Kramer, you know, he had to get re-navigated at some point in his life. They're like, yo, we need you. You're going to fall into a ditch and be on the ship, and there's some crazy shit going on. We'll get you back in 8 years.
Hmm.
And then maybe to go back in time, he needs the help of his kid and reconnect with the child that he kind of hasn't been there for enough already. I don't know. It just seems like a Disney kind of family friendly.
I need to get some tissues. That's really nice. I feel like
Oh.
it's more if you're gonna say Disney. I was thinking the famous Jet Jackson. Make it a spy flick.
The famous
Give
Jet Jackson.
Yeah,
The best.
Give him some spy stuff with some Xenon from the 24th century. Make it real Disney old school. If you have any
I think his
courage.
name is Lee Thompson Young, I believe. The actor.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Imagine if he got navigated. You know, imagine that's the thing, right?
Chris, I sort of had the same idea as you.
Okay.
To kind of like deal with that, but it's like the thing is whenever he comes back, well, he makes the ship come back, and then realizes that, man, you know, I missed all this time with my daughter. So then they have to go and complete their mission, whatever it is. But whenever they come back, she's a baby again.
Oh,
right, totally, yeah.
He gets to be there as she's born, well, as she's a very small child, and then he gets those years back at the very end, and he's like, "Wow,
I like that. That's a good. I like that."
Yeah, see, I was thinking that too. Like, you know, he's on his way to the hospital. He's got a wife, and she's about to have, you know, they're about to have their first kid, and he gets like navigated on the way to the hospital, and then like, you know, disappears and shows up. The kid's 10 years old, 12 years old, or whatever, and adventure ensues.
And you know, the best part is if you really got Joey Kramer, like you watch it, he's just that voice is soothing. Like listening to him in the documentary, it's like I want to watch a whole movie with this guy.
Yeah,
you know, like at the Navigator, you know, David, we need you back again. Like what? You know, he just has like it would really work if you did it that way, where he just disappears again for real quick. But then again, you know, kind of repeating the first film, he comes back. And now all this time has disappeared. And he's like, whoa. Like, I got to fix this. I got to, you know.
Yeah. But it's like the thing is like in like reality, like, do you kind of want to throw him back into that? I mean, I know like at the end of the doc,
we will ruin his life to get a good movie. Yes, we do. We will ruin his life, his sobriety, his future, his current relationships, his mental state. If we could get a good sequel to this movie, and I'm okay with that.
Shaun Gold spoken like a true Hollywood producer right there. A studio.
You know what? I mean, he's obviously comfortable telling his story.
Yeah.
To do the doc, so
pretty stable. You know,
yeah,
he can handle it.
And like, I think it would help him in the long run because he'd be getting booked for a ton of more conventions and stuff like that.
Do you think that would be good? Him going to the middle of, you know, nowhere to a convention and being stuck there? It's not good. That's not good for his mental state. The movie is. Let him live the Hollywood glamour life. Forget this convention.
Yeah,
hey, Joey, what are you doing? I'm going to Frog Butt, Arkansas for the Flight of the Navigator convention. We got 22 RSVPs and I'm staying at a Holiday Inn Express. Awesome. That's not going to spiral him down.
Where is Frog Butt, Arkansas? That's a place I never want to go in the history of my life.
You only go there when you need to be there. So.
Oh, is that where the airborne convention is going to be?
No, that's in Cincinnati, where the movie.
Arkansas. Good Lord.
Speaking of which, Chris, that's your cue.
But if the Bryce Dallas Howard reboot fails, which I mean it could, you know, a lot of these reboots fail, then we'll get together and we'll have to write Flight of the Navigator 2, and then we have to go find Joey.
I'm telling you, he could totally anchor a film like this still, or at least be the parent in one, you know.
But it's like, who knows? I mean, God damn it, we wrote Encino Man 2, and then fucking Brendan Fraser wins a fucking Oscar.
Yeah, right. I mean, shit. God damn, what are the odds of that, right?
It only took 30-something years, but
and not only that, but 2 Encino Man actors. Encino Man swept the Oscars this year. I love it. Ke Huy Quan.
Yeah,
and Brendan Fraser, and I've had the pleasure of meeting Key. He's a very nice and humble man. Him and his wife were, you know, just like great, amazing people.
Did he tell you to hold on to your potato?
No, he did not. Although I did drive him and his wife from the airport to our convention.
He didn't say it.
And he didn't say it. No,
that's
it's funny because
I would have been like, "Get me to the convention. Hold on to your potato."
Well, right, he's getting in the back seat with his wife, and in the front seat is Joanna Cassidy, who's Rose from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And first thing she says, she's like, "Hey, can you lower the air conditioning? I'm always cold." And I just go, "I'm right on top of that, Rose." And like dead silence, and I'm just like, okay, jokes are out. I got it.
Okay.
But she was great too. She was awesome. She ended up talking my ear off the whole ride down, and she was really cool. It's just like,
You should have been like, "Shut up! I got short round in the back." Or do you prefer Data? Data, short round. Hey, Data, you got any inventions?
My God,
I would have been a bad person. I would have been.
It was a booby trap. It was a booby trap. That's what it was.
What would have been awesome is like if she would have asked you to turn down the AC and then the teeth came out and turned it for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, or he would have been in the back. Hold on, I got something for this. That'd be great. Instead of him being, a nice guy that says the movie was over 30 years ago. Instead of you being starstruck and being like, "Hey, you must have some stories on the set. So what was the plan with that pirate ship, huh?" And he's like, I'm 50 something years old. I haven't really thought about it. Oh, okay. I won't ask anything else. Do you still keep in touch with the cast? Is there an Uber I can take?
I'll tell you what, though, if you went with a different kid in the 80s, Ke Kwan would have been awesome as a new Navigator, as another kid.
Oh, that honestly would have actually been very interesting.
He would have been great. I wish they had done some more movies with him.
I think he should have been in Space Camp.
I could have seen that.
I think if Spielberg had gotten
I would have cast him in everything. Monster Squad, you name it.
Yeah, I think if he had gotten but Spielberg had a hand in Space Camp, so I thought he should have been in that one.
I didn't even realize Spielberg had a hand in that. But anyway, there are some pitches in the chat. I don't want to completely ignore them. Finally, yes. Mikey Riffraff says, pitch. The Navigator is back in action. The ship returns and takes him back to his planet. A virus has infected and destroyed most of the star charts they had, and now the fate of the world rests in the hands of the Navigator with the leaky brain. That is actually excellent.
That's pretty good.
Interesting.
That's the hard part to figure out, too, is the intergalactic stuff. Like, the rest of it kind of seems to, it's a family movie. You have some of that going on. But you did the heavy lifting, Mikey Riffraff, the mash of genius.
Do you get Paul Rubens?
I don't know if you're gonna. See,
I thought it wasn't him though. I thought the documentary. I thought I remember hearing they wanted to get him, but they didn't. But they ended up ripping his voice anyway.
No, because it's I remember watching it whenever I was growing up, thinking man, that's a really bad Pee Wee Herman, voice. Why would they do that instead of just getting Pee Wee Herman? But no, it's him. It's a Paul Rubens. Yeah,
it's just with those Bane filters on his voice, so it's perhaps I'm wondering,
Yeah,
I was born on a playground.
Yeah. You merely adopted the playhouse. Do you feel
what is the magic word?
Cartoons?
But isn't that set cool? His little navigation station, man, I don't know if they would do that nowadays.
No, it'll all be digital, it'll be shot on a volume.
That literally he would be on a blue screen. He'd be it'd be a Marvel set where they just put in everything.
Yeah, but
Andy Serkis
for a camera crew, that was a hard set.
Oh, no,
they had to hide that camera a lot because
everything's reflective in there.
Yeah. I mean,
so
it was incredible. It was a well-made film that I just think, got lost in mid 80s. I mean, really, honestly, I'm part of a Facebook group that does a lot of advertisements, newspaper advertisements, and from films and what's fascinating is just if you look at a weekend in 1986, what was at the box office then. I mean, I don't even know how any of these movies made money, because there's
repeat 10 viewings.
Honestly, there's Flight of the Navigator is probably up against what, Dream a Little Dream, and
no, that was 89.
I mean, whatever the years are, but
again, our film professor. It was probably up against Independence Day.
You know what? I think my parents, why my parents didn't take me to go watch it in theaters, and this is me being a parent myself now, is look at the theatrical poster, and look at the poster that you, or look at the VHS cover that you have behind you.
Yeah.
Like, my parents would have taken me to see that movie. That movie poster is fucking frightening. Like, what is going on? It looks like people are melting, and there's like aliens, and they're in space. Like, that's to me, that's why my parents didn't take me to go watch that in theaters, because that original theatrical poster is frightening.
But so, I also agree. I hate saying it, but it's a bad title.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, if it was just Navigator.
Confusing.
Yeah, or just Get Navigated.
Yeah, exactly. But to your point, Ian, it opened up against Ruthless People, Back to School, Top Gun, Aliens, Running Scared,
like,
Legal
Eagles,
Tuesday Off,
it opened up
Night,
against
Psycho
Back
3,
to School?
Club Paradise, Big Trouble in Little China, Labyrinth, Short Circuit, Poltergeist 2, Maximum Overdrive, Cobra, Vamp, Out of Bounds with Anthony Michael Hall. Mwah.
And I think American Ninja 2 was also released, but for just the VHS. So, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
No one best Dudikoff.
No one best Dudikoff.
But there is another pitch. Another pitch in the chat as well. Alex Bonafonte, of course, the pitch master himself. Joey Kramer is a seasoned naval pilot who occasionally encounters the Paul Rubens spacecraft while maintaining UFO secrecy. Meanwhile, you will purchase the extended warranty if things will get painful. Oh man, well, I love that. That's fucking great. Yeah.
He's because obviously he was chosen to be the Navigator because he's really good at it, or becomes good at it. So yeah.
Do you think he ever gets lost, or he's just like, hold on, I got this? Oh, we don't need map quests.
Oh my gosh,
we don't need roads.
Get this. What if you got him and Henry Thomas?
Ooh. The bike flight of the Navigator.
But get a bunch of these kids that are in, like, get the kid that was in Mac and Me. Get a bunch of these guys, make it kind of
like an Expendables of washed up alien movie stars from the 80s.
God, why do you hate the world, man?
Austin O'Brien from Last Action Hero.
Yeah. I am not against that idea. That's
like, how interesting would that be if this was kind of the kid from Cocoon? Again, not as them in those movies, but just them in the movie to like bring us all kind of nostalgically back into.
Can we get Chunk from the Goonies?
You'll never get him to act ever again. He's making too much money as a Hollywood lawyer.
Maybe for a cameo.
I actually think you should get who he was in Revenge of the Nerds, but he's also in Space Camp.
Andrew Cassis?
Yeah, get a bunch of those actors in a movie.
What if we have them playing their characters, but they're in like the AA meeting type thing where they're like all sitting around like talking about their honors, and then like all of a sudden it's like, the Navigator ship shows up and they're like, "Who's that? Like, who's that?" I was like, "Oh man, that's mine. Like, I have to go into the and then it's like they're like, well, hell, let's go, man. Like, we haven't seen your corner of space yet. We've seen, like, I've dealt with ET, I've dealt with this and that. Like, and then we can literally break people's minds. And just
2 thumbs way up. That's
fine holiday fun.
Yeah. Get Navigated for good.
Oh my God. I love it.
Get Navigated permanently, No, yeah, I got to get a shirt that just says Get Navigated.
No, please
I think it would be awesome.
God.
I'm getting that shirt. We got to get that shirt.
I'm definitely gonna get Ian a shirt that says "See you later, Navigator."
Yeah, I'll wear that one, but
not Get Navigated. What, navigate this?
Yeah, navigate this for sure. Yeah, that's also a shirt
awesome.
Ian needs.
But you gotta say that when you like kick someone off a cliff or something.
Those are shirts. Those are shirts that Joey Kramer should be selling with like autographed. That would be great.
Navigate this.
This.
That's what I'm going with.
Well, I think we have done our best to navigate and re-navigate and open the navigate. So is there anything else before we wrap it up you guys want to let people know about? Paul, any scripts coming out, or anything you're working on writing? Shaun, anything coming up in the works?
I just learned that Meatballs 5 next week is happening. So what tops that?
That's true. We got to give everybody something to live for.
So
anything?
Yeah, I got 2 scripts that are done. We got them.
Nice.
We got them out there. We're getting one of them edited. It's called we have a horror movie called Hospice, and
was it a documentary?
it is not. Good thing too. We have Hospice, and then we have Ghost Fighter, which is
it sounds
what
great.
A great title.
Yeah.
Is that a sequel to Ghost Dad? I like Ghost Dad.
Stop it, Shaun.
I was walking just through my living room trying to come up with a ghost story, and then MMA was on. I was watching UFC, and I'm like, what if a guy could fight ghosts?
Please tell me he says navigate this. Please tell me.
So
and he fights a navigator like an ancient.
Just make one of the ghosts, please. Make one of the ghosts a rollerblader, so he has to fight one of the ghosts on wheels.
One of the rollerbladers that died in Airborne, the one that got hit by a car. Okay,
the script is done. The script is done, so maybe we have to work. Maybe we have to wait for the sequel.
No, the script is never done until it's filmed. Okay, just work it in there. That's whole second act. Get it out. The guy that gets hit by the car in Airborne, he's a ghost.
Listen, babe, we're talking some reshoots, all right?
But now
it's gonna be
navigate this.
Right now, I'm working on a comedy script, and it's it's going to be a little bit tricky. It's about this group of friends that have Down syndrome that are in school, and I can write this because my wife teaches Down syndrome children, so I passed it through her, and like she agreed to read it to make sure I'm not offending anybody. But it's about this group of friends who are being bullied, and one of their friends, the bullies, they go and they break their electric wheelchair. So this group of friends that have Down syndrome, they decide that they're gonna join that they're gonna start a rap group, and they're gonna compete in a talent show to raise money. Well, it turns out that they win this talent show, but it's not enough money. So then they have to go into the inner city and participate in rap battles.
Please tell me there's a beat that says navigate this.
I'll work it in. I'll
work it in, man. Just put a line in there.
Paul, you have found your "I'll be back," the line that will go in every script now.
That's
navigate this.
Navigate.
You know what? I'm probably gonna have one of the kids like obsessed with Flight of the Navigator, just so that's like his fucking catch line.
Look at that, Ian. You got a part.
Yeah. but the movie, the working title right now is called Mentally Ill.
Ooh, it's a smart man. See, Ian, that's how film writing is done. That's how scripts are written. That is how puns are delivered.
That's their rap group name is Mentally Ill,
So they're singing their premiere #1 hit, Navigate This.
Oh, chef's kiss again, yet again.
So anyways,
ribbon after ribbon.
Yeah, that's what I got. I probably shouldn't have said it because I'm still in the writing process, but I wanted to share it.
Well, you just copyrighted
I love that.
So there you go.
Oh man, I tell you, every time I ask you what you're writing, it sounds like something so fucking cool. Like I know you've got a lot under the belt, and Shaun Gold as well. We're very lucky to have some actual writers here, and Ian's an actual writer.
That's right.
I just pretend to be one.
And we're not on strike.
You're a writer, Chris.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, is there anything going on in your corner of the world, Ian? Any articles coming out?
Well, yeah, I just had
something, in stores, right?
Yes, I had a short story published in actually, I got it right here.
Oh, here's time for the plug. Let's put it on. You can get it.
I didn't plan for this at all. Pulls a clarinet out of his sleeve.
In Vampire. Oh, you can't say Vampire's Carmilla. Short
Story. Hold it under your chin.
What?
Hold it by your face.
There it is. Yes. Vampires Carmilla, a short story that I wrote, premiered in that's in Barnes and Nobles across the country. So please go grab that. But for let's see here, for Fandom Spotlight, do read my B movie challenge for the Belgium horror comedy classic Rabid Grannies. So
Navigate that. Forget navigate this. Navigate that.
But that should be premiering soon.
You sick man. Love it. Well, at any rate, you Fandom fans might want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we retcon title after title for our Meatballs episode.
Yes.
As always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlite, the Howell 9 Network, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.
I appreciate the invite. Thanks, guys.